This is part 2 of a 2-part weekly news episode. So for the second part, I cover Real Housewives of Rhode Island, Real Housewives of Atlanta, what else? Southern Hospitality, Ladies of London, and much more. And if you are looking for part 1, where I've got all the summer house news plus Beverly Hills and OC, just check back in your feed. Oh, and the Valley. I cover the Valley in this one too. So yeah, enjoy. Oh, yeah. And if you're looking for ad-free episodes, patreon.com/Bravo and Botox. Thanks, everyone. Enjoy the episode. Welcome to the Bravo Papers, a safe space for all us Bravo fans who love to analyze, deconstruct, and talk about our favorite Bravo shows ad nauseum. So join me, Bravo and Botox, and we'll catch up on all the Bravo news and read way too much into our favorite shows and Bravo celebrities. Okay, let's get right into some Valley news because just when I think the Bravo world cannot surprise me even more, they do. Because Michelle Lawley from the Valley is dating none other than Dr. Dre. So I guess she didn't forget about Dr. Dre or forget about Dre. Damn, I screwed that up. But still, you get what I'm saying. You get the joke, right? Like when I saw this, my first thought was, I was like, is this AI? Like, what is happening? But it definitely is not AI. It's real. She is dating Dr. Dre. Maybe this is like a Hail Mary to save the Valley because the Valley is like really, really not good this season. And the viewership is reflecting it because apparently it's down. Um, I mean, listen, here's my thing about the Valley before I talk about Michelle and Dr. Dre. This is probably going to be an unpopular opinion, but I think there's a few different problems happening. Number one, Janet is, you guys are going to hate this. Janet needs more screen time, but as a villain. They're trying to give her like a good edit and like, you know, trying to get us to like her again. She should just own her Janet villainness, like having like a Karen kind of suburban mom villain. As much as like I don't like Janet, it was fun. Like it was like mostly low stakes, and like she's so fun to hate on, you know? So I think them kind of going away from that is bad for the formula of the show. So that's one. Number two, there's way too much focus on the postpartum thing. Like the postpartum thing is a good thing to have on the show, but there's too much focus on it. And specifically, I would want the focus to just be on how the women are struggling, not their annoying husbands trying to get them to have sex with them after they've just had children. That is not fun at all. No one wants to watch that. Another thing is I actually think that maybe there's a few people who need to go at this point. I think Michelle and Jesse should stay because I think the whole thing with Lacey and that dynamic is interesting. And now, as I said, Michelle's dating Dr. Dre, so let's keep that going. I think keep Kristen and Luke. I think Lala and Schwartz were the most useless choice I've ever seen. They're not adding anything to the show at all. I don't care about Schwartz's dating. He's tough to watch because he looks terrible, and not looks terrible in like Schwartz is ugly. He looks terrible in like, are you like coming off of drugs in every scene? Like, are you showering? Like, I don't know what's happening. Lala's annoying and inauthentic. Like, I actually think get rid of them. They should have had Sheena and Brock on. They, again, this is going to be a really unpopular opinion. Maybe get rid of Nia and Danny. I just don't think that Nia and Danny are authentically connected. I guess they're connected with Kristen and Luke. So maybe they would have been okay in that sense. But I just like, I don't know. I'm getting depressed watching them. And I want these shows to be more fun. Like it's getting depressing watching Danny be a weird creeper and Nia miserable. in her life. Like I just don't know how much more of that I can watch. I know it's their reality. I'm not trying to say that, but like I've lived that reality, not of having the creeper part, but of the postpartum part. It's a lot. It's a lot to have two people on the show at the same time going through it. It just like, I watch these shows as an escape, and it's just like I haven't even watched the newest episode because I'm like scared to watch it because I'm like it's going to like make me depressed. Like we need more of the lighter stuff, and like I think more of the relationship stuff that's not only like the like husband trying to pressure a wife into having sex when she's not ready. Like I just hate that. It just is it like it's not fun drama. Like it makes me angry. Like we need more of like the stupid bickering between like the friends. That's what we need more of, and there's not enough of that. Um I just feel like maybe like we don't need Schwartz, we don't need Lala. I don't know if we need Nia and Danny as much these days. You can keep Janet as a villain, but I think she needs to be in the villain role. And since she's not maybe willing to keep owning the villain role, then maybe she needs to go too. There's got to be other like psychotic, miserable couples living in the valley that could be on this show. There has to be, because it's not working. Okay. And I do think bring on Sheena and Brock. Like I think, they will at least make interesting television and have some connections to the group. Like I don't know why they would choose Lala and Schwartz. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Okay. Okay. So meanwhile, Michelle's dating Dr. Dre, which is crazy. I don't know how this happened. I guess they live in LA, so I guess anything can happen. But I have to say, I saw a rumor a while ago on social media that said word on the street is Michelle's dating Dr. Dre. And I think it was on Twitter, and I totally ignored it because I was like, this has to be like a, somebody just being funny on Twitter, or this is just one of those stupid rumors that is not like, I remember like seeing it and I was like, I'm not going to cover that on the show. I'm not even going to retweet it. Like, I was like, that's ridiculous. It was just no world in which I could believe that to be true, but it is. There was all these photos seen of him. And now I'm hearing that apparently word on the street is that they've been dating since BravoCon. So like since November. So this isn't just like they went on a date on the weekend, which is pretty crazy. Now, a lot of most people are just expressing how shocked they are by this. Like, it's just shocking. But others are expressing the fact that, like, what are we doing, Michelle? Like, this man is known for domestic violence and abuse. So, like, what's happening here? So, yeah, that's not good. Now Jesse did kind of like a street interview with TMZ or whatever, and he's asked about this, and he's like, whatever makes her happy. He's like, she's single, she's, we're not together, or she's single, she's divorced, she's allowed to date whoever she wants, whatever makes her happy. And he says that I just hope that she continues like being a great mom to Isabella and, puts Isabella first and has Isabella's best interests in heart, because I don't think we want to go through another Aaron situation. So he does, of course, throw a little bit of shade. But I also think that there was some coded language there in terms of like I hope she has Isabella's best interests at heart, because yeah, like, is this like, you are so worried about like who Jesse's bringing around your child. Well, you're bringing a man who's an abuser around your child. Maybe not to children. Maybe he's not abusive to children, but if that happens, her seeing that is not good. Like, I don't know. Like, like the more I learn about Michelle, the more I think she's the problem in general. And that doesn't mean that Jesse is not also the problem in his own ways, but like everything she was accusing Jesse of last season is what she did. Like having someone come around her child too soon and get too close to them, and then they're going to break up. That was her concern about Jesse and Lacey, but that's what she did with Aaron. And clearly Aaron wasn't a great pick because he told you he broke up with you because you don't do like Pilates enough or whatever. You're not in shape enough. So like, what kind of a man was he? And now you're dating somebody who has a history of domestic violence. So I don't know. I'm side-eyeing Michelle big time right now. Because I don't know, as a mother, like not to pull the mother thing, but I am a mom. I would like if my husband and I got divorced, I would not date someone who had a known history of domestic abuse. And I would not be bringing them around my child. I don't know if she's bringing him around her child yet. I don't know, but I hope she doesn't. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. This is just crazy. But like, are we going to be seeing like Dr. Dre and Jesse like co-parenting? Like, what is happening? He's never going to be on the show, obviously. So I don't even think I need to address that question. But despite my online handle being Bravo and Botox, I've actually never had Botox. And not that I'm against it, but for now, I'm putting it off and I'm trying to just really focus on high quality skincare. I'm 42 now, and I definitely notice more fine lines and loss of firmness in my skin specifically. So I can't just buy any skincare anymore. I need something to specifically address those issues. And that's what OneSkin's OS1 peptide has done for me. I've been using their OS1 moisturizer and my life has changed. The feel, the texture, the glow of my skin, honestly, it's really improved. And unlike other moisturizers, it doesn't make my skin too greasy or too dry, which has always been an issue for me because I have combination skin. And my favorite thing about OneSkin is that it was founded by a team of female scientists with PhDs, women supporting women. And the skincare is backed by rigorous science and research. You can even read about the team and their story on their website. Born from over a decade of longevity research, OneSkin's OS1 peptide is proven to target the visible signs of aging, helping you unlock your healthiest skin now and as you age. For a limited time, try OneSkin with 15% off using code BRAVOPAPERS at oneskin.co/BravoPapers. That's 15% off oneskin.co with code BRAVOPAPERS. After you purchase, they'll ask where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. For the longest time, my front porch was a tragedy. I had a wreath with the greenery falling off, nowhere to sit on nice days, and a doormat that was faded and way too small for the space. But thanks to Wayfair, my front porch looks so beautiful for spring and summer, and I was able to find exactly what I needed to match my vibe. The exterior of my home is kind of modern farmhouse, so I needed to find decor that would complement that style. And although Wayfair has like thousands of items, they make it really easy to find what you need. So I was able to narrow down by the style, price, size, and even colors for everything I wanted. I wanted to get a lavender wreath, 26 inches. I just used the filters and no problem. I found one that is perfect. And I love that I could get everything I needed for my front patio in one place, like a chair, my new wreath, front doormat. I got lanterns and a decorative watering can, and it all just looks exactly how I envisioned it. So get prepped for patio season for way less. Head to wayfair.com right now to shop all things home. That's WAYFAIR.com. Wayfair. Every style, every home.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Yeah, so Lacey as well, so Jesse's girlfriend, made a video on social media, and she says that the reason that she didn't want to film season 2 is because she was newly dating Jesse. So she's kind of defending herself, and I think she has the right to. And by the way, I just want to state that for the record, I have always said that I don't think Lacey sending the cease and desist is a bad thing. I don't think it makes her crazy. I think she had the right to. And I think that these women were terrible about talking about her and the way that they talked about her when she wasn't on the show to defend herself. And I stand by that. And again, what she says here, I think kind of aligns with that. She says she didn't want to film season 2 because she was newly dating Jesse. They'd only been dating for a few months. And a lot of times going on reality TV, right when you start dating someone can ruin it. And there was kids involved, so she didn't want to risk that. Yeah, I think that's a logical, that shows someone who's being thoughtful and logical about their child and their relationship. I don't think like that makes her like, you know, like some stuck up bitch or something like that, or like how Michelle and, you know, Brittany and them are trying to make her out to be. She also says that she thought it was a bad idea so soon. She didn't want to. Oh, sorry, I said that already. She said her mental health was in a bad place because her grandmother had just died and she'd also. This is the crazy part. I'm like, I need to know more about this. She lost 3 friends. Like 3 friends died. I'm like, how does that happen? Like, did they get in a car accident and they were all in the same car? Like, what happened? So that's crazy. But either way, she's dealing with even just the death of her grandmother. So she's not in a good headspace. Okay. And then she said, however, she didn't film, but she got texts from people on the cast saying they were spreading a rumor about her that she drove drunk with her kids in the car, leaving some event. She said she actually got the surveillance video from the event that shows that she was not driving home from that event. And she says she was so pissed, though, because that like ruins her reputation and all this other stuff, that she texted them. And obviously, them is like, I'm assuming like Michelle, Janet, whoever, and texted them and asked them to stop. And she said that they, quote unquote, replied. So again, I'm assuming it's Michelle, that they can say whatever they want. And this is what you signed up for. Well, she didn't sign up for it, but I guess maybe they were saying like, well, you started dating a guy on reality TV. Yeah, fine, but that doesn't mean you can make up like fake stories about her. Anyway, so she said that because of that response, she sent the cease and desist. And again, I think that's fine. If somebody said that about me on a show and it wasn't true, I'd be sending a cease and desist as well. And I think the most annoying part of all of it is how Michelle and them act like she's the crazy one for sending the cease and desist. Like, no, you guys are the crazy ones. And they were spreading rumors about who she was sleeping with and all sorts of stuff. Like, shut up. And then you are dating Dr. Dre now. Like, I don't know. Okay, I can't with Michelle. Okay. So that's all for the Valley. Okay, let's go to some Real Housewives of, oh, sorry, I'm just scrolling here. Atlanta news. So big thing kind of happened, which was that there was some footage floating around on social media about sheriffs pulling up to Kenya Moore's hair salon in Atlanta and taking all of her stuff out. So apparently this was like the eviction in progress and her items were put outside and she was locked out. So this has been kind of ongoing like for a while, like people talking about like unpaid rent, about like the place is struggling, it's going out of business, she's lying about it, like all these things. Okay. And, you know, she didn't do herself any favors with the whole Brit thing when she did that at her own salon opening. So that wasn't good. Like, am I shocked that this didn't work out? No. So all these videos and images were coming out and everybody was talking about it. So Kenya did make a statement and she said, I've spent the last several weeks moving out of my salon as a result of my ongoing legal battle with the landlord who has failed to reimburse me nearly $80K of improvement funds I am rightfully owed. My only recourse was to withhold rent and file a countersuit. I already have my outfit laid out for court, child. To all the amazing women and men who came in and twirled out in style, thank you from the bottom of my heart. The salon chapter is closing. Trust me, it's not the end. It's just the beginning of a new era. Stay tuned for what's next. Okay. So listen, do I think that maybe that is part of the reason that this is happening? Yes, because I remember reading about how there was like an improvement agreement and this was in like legal documents where she would be reimbursed for a certain amount. Do I think also she wasn't paying because the business was struggling and not doing well? Also, yes. And I think both of those can be true. I think that her closing this place and this being done is probably the best thing for her. It's gonna hurt because she put so much into it and so much money into it. But you know, that is kind of the risk of not to sound like Lindsay, but it is kind of the risk of brick and mortar. It is the risk you take as a reality star, because a lot of time, you know, the success of your business is tied to your reputation and your success on the show, which obviously isn't great for Kenya right now. Even though, you know, there are a lot of people on her side that who feel she got fired unfairly and all that kind of stuff. I actually think they should bring her back to the show, but whatever. That's a story for another day. But, you know, look at like Tom, you know, they sunk those businesses because of their reputation. Like that stuff happens. It sucks, but I think at this point she needs to cut her losses and kind of try to move forward. I think that's all she can do. I think she should focus on trying to get back on Real Housewives of Atlanta because that's her bread and butter and she's good at it. She's good at it and she's great on the show. And I want her back. And I I get why she was fired, but like, this will be her season off. She paid her dues. Can we have her back now? I think we should have her back. Okay. Um, so we also have some news here about Drew and Ralph and some updates on their divorce. Because remember, if you remember from, I think, last episode or the one before, it came out that like his income was like $70,000 a month and hers was like 20,000 or like something crazy. And there was all this stuff and like her losing custody of her kids. So we've learned more about that. So apparently text messages submitted as evidence during the divorce reveal that Drew Sidora gave 50% of her RHOA income, movie earnings, and endorsement deals to Ralph Pittman. It's also alleged that he took $300,000 from her personal injury settlement. Okay, so according to TMZ, he was taking half of that stuff. And one alleged text from April 2026, Drew wrote to him, I most definitely cannot afford $9,000 of household expenses at this time. Are you going to pay for half of the groceries as well as half of the kids' expenses for the month? She asked. Ralph adds, good morning. I believe this is very generous as you haven't contributed anything towards the home for a number of years. Your attorney should be advising you, but if you don't pay, you will be in contempt, Ralph says. And then she says, Ralph, how can you say I haven't given you money toward the house in years? I've given you 50% of my money for RHOA, and all along you were getting paid directly from Bravo as well. I gave you 50% of my endorsement deals and my movies. Let's talk about how you took $300,000 out of my money I received personally on my personal injury settlement. And then she asked Ralph why the mortgage had not been paid on their Georgia home, claiming they were behind $25,000 in payments. And he said, you're making stuff up again, so I won't entertain. And then on April 14th, Drew wrote, you have done the ultimate betrayal and tried to destroy me as their mom, defame my character, career, brand, and me as a human being time and time again. So please just focus on what's best for the kids moving forward. And Ralph replied saying, you can no longer hide and don't want people to see you for who you really are. All the lies you told are being cleared without me doing anything. You're a terrible person. I pray you work on your spirit. And then he added, you're too delusional to even understand what's happening. Try praying for yourself. Oh, my God. And then Drew replies, where was it? Sorry. Oh, wait. Oh, no, I read that already. She says, you're too delusional. No, that's what he said. I'm so sorry, guys. She says, you got banished from church for trying to date the politician's daughter, you loser. My mom and I tried to save you. I pray you repent. Okay. I mean, these two are a disaster. Like, these two are an absolute disaster. Do I think that Drew is perfect and that, she hasn't made her own mistakes on her side in all these situations? Probably yes. Drew lies. She's got her issues too. But do I think, based on what I've seen on the show, Ralph does seem like a legit narcissist, and I could see him taking a lot of her money and then acting like she owes him. That just goes along with his character and what we've literally seen from him on this show. And sometimes this is why women wait a long time to divorce guys like this, because they know it's going to be a gong show and it's going to be terrible. So they're like, it's almost just better to just stay with them and just, hope they're not around that much and they, maybe just cheat on each other. Like, it's just not that crazy. And in other RHOA news, Portia did an interview with Carlos King. And in that interview, she mentions the Fallon situation from, when she allegedly stole Simon from Fallon or whatever. And they, stole that man's husband and all that. And people have been talking about that for a long time. And, Portia, I guess, kind of feels like she's like labeled like a home wrecker ever since that. Well, I mean, yeah, you're labeled that, but like you kind of are. Like, I'm not saying like that's who you're going to be for the rest of your life, but like you did do that. Like, it's like you can't say you didn't do that. And listen, Portia's still as popular as ever. She's still like the star of the show. So she needs to just kind of get over it. But anyway, she says that she takes full accountability for her role in the Simon and Fallon situation. She admits it wasn't her place to speak on Fallon's pregnancy at the time and believes that if she had shared the information, it might have freed her from the shackles of the Scarlet Letter. So, what she's trying to say is if she had shared that Fallon was pregnant with this other man's baby, it would have like cleared her of being like the mistress. Because her and Simon's comeback during this whole situation was always that, like, well, it's not like that. Fallon's cheating too. And on top of that, she's pregnant with her like new guy. So like she doesn't even care. Whereas Fallon's side of it was like, yes, I had feelings for this other guy, but you still came in and, you know, quote unquote, hooked up or stole my husband or whatever. And, you know, so then I just like fully pursued things with the other guy, you know, and then and she's kind of has claimed like the timeline sort of support that. But, you know, and there's different kind of takes on this. You know, my take is kind of like, even if that Fallon stuff is true, you just shouldn't have been in the position to hear about that stuff from Simon in the first place. Like Simon, if Simon confided in you, like she's cheating on me and all that, etc., it's because he's helping you justify, you know, stealing your man's friend. Like it's you and him have obviously already shared some flirty texts or gone crossed a line of some kind. And so now you're justifying it. Right. So like, why did you even in the first place even entertain it? That's the question that I would ask. Okay. It's like, why are we even entertaining someone who's married to a friend of ours? That's the question. Right. But, you know, and then I get it. People could be like, well, their relationship was fucked. Now, did Portia know that before or after? I don't know. Right. So Fallon has responded and says, I know you're fucking lying. See, I was okay with never speaking on this situation again, but as long as 265 is out here doing interviews, taking quote unquote accountability and acting as Captain Save-A-Ho with the Carlos King, fuck it. Time to blow the dust off those receipts so that everyone can take real accountability and this shit can finally die. Now, that being said, I have not seen those receipts that Fallon speaks of since this post was made. So I will be looking out for them. And once I get them, I will be back to share them with you all. So don't worry about it. We will all get it. I'm not going to lie, I've been needing new glasses for a while now. I got glasses when I turned 40 and now I'm 42 and I have the same pair and they have a chip on the paint on the frame. Plus, I'm very over the style that I chose. And, you know, I've been wearing them for a while because going to get new ones, it just takes so long and it's like a whole production. And I just don't have time to like schedule the appointment, wait forever. And it's so expensive. I paid over $300 last time just to get a frame that I like. So I'm really glad I discovered Zenni. It's an online eyewear shop. Prescription glasses, sunglasses, blue light glasses starting at under $30. You go to zenni.com, pick a frame, upload your prescription, and they ship it to your door. No appointment, no store, no like upsell at the counter. My favorite part is their virtual try on. Not gonna lie, I had the best time trying on so many styles in the comfort of my own home without anyone pressuring me or trying to upsell me. And I love my new glasses. They're good quality. They look exactly like the virtual try on. And finally, I have a cool updated aviator style that I've been wanting for a while. If your glasses are overdue for a refresh, now is the time. Go to zenni.com/podcast and use code podcast15 for 15% off your first order. The styles sell out, so don't sit on it. That's zenni.com/podcast. Promo code podcast15. As I've been getting older, I've become more and more intentional about what I wear day to day, leaning into pieces that feel effortless, comfortable, and still put together. It just makes getting dressed way easier. And Quince has been my go-to. The fabrics feel elevated, the fits are flattering, and everything just works without overthinking it. Quince makes it easy to refresh your everyday this spring with pieces that feel as good as they look. They use premium materials like 100% European linen, organic cotton, and ultra soft denim. Speaking of denim, I recently got a pair of their Bella Stretch Relax straight jeans and I'm obsessed. They are the most comfortable jeans I've ever owned. They're still like structured and supportive, but so comfy. I have jeans that are literally double the price and not as comfortable or high quality as the ones from Quince. And because of the price, I am definitely going back and buying them in more colors like ASAP. So refresh your everyday with luxury you'll actually use. Head to quince.com/Bravo Papers for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada too. That's QUINCE.com/Bravo Papers for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/Bravo Papers. Okay. Meanwhile, K. Michelle is, maybe struggling a bit handling the opinions of the Housewives fans, as we know happens with Housewives sometimes. That being said, K. Michelle is not new to reality TV. So I don't know maybe why this is so difficult for her, but she is kind of veering into the Caroline Brooks online meltdown territory. So if you all remember, Caroline Brooks from Real Housewives of Dubai, she was active on Twitter, okay? She was always like just popping off on Twitter, ranting, like just so mad on Twitter. Like, I mean, I always thought it was hilarious, but yeah. So K. Michelle's going down that road a little bit. So she says, "Shut the f up! I'm literally so annoyed and sick of Wait, what does that say? Sorry, because and sick of y'all ass. Sit around and talk all day. I'm done with the shenanigans. I'm not an OG. I don't give an F. I am K. Michelle. I will speak as I want, tweet as I want, and marry who the F I want. I've been through hell with this man. None of you will validate what we are. I said what I said. Another tweet. I'm in K. Michelle era. I do not desire to be liked or fit in anywhere. I've been me. You can tweet me all day. You can just get blocked. I don't lie. I don't play games. I see everything in truth. I'm sensitive, not stupid. I'm going to give you a human experience. Opinions are welcome, but not in actual consideration. Okay. Okay. So I guess she's saying like you can say your opinions, but she's not going to consider them towards her choices in her life, which I mean, I think that's actually a good outlook, but I have to push back a little on the opinions are welcome. Because based on these tweets, it doesn't sound like opinions are welcome. It sounds like she very much does not welcome them and she is not enjoying them at all. Now, all that being said, I'm enjoying her on the show so far. I liked how she called out Portia. I like how she said it right to her face and they had the sit down about it. I do like that she's direct in that way and that she doesn't do like all the behind the back stuff. Like, I think she kind of brings, a more like kind of old school thought process to Housewives, which I enjoy. It's much like Real Housewives of Rhode Island, which is my next topic, actually. Because Rula was doing an interview and with Parade magazine, and she said this is her clearing up the whole Spanish teacher rumors, because if you're caught up on the show, you'll know that Alicia was talking about how she also heard like that Brian kind of has a history with cheating, because she heard that he was like having an affair with Rula, and that's how him and Rula ended up married. So like there was some crossover with his last wife because he was married once before, and that he was married to actually Alicia's Spanish teacher, and that's how she knows her. So Rula said, I actually know the Spanish teacher. She's very nice and all this kind of stuff, but there was no overlap. That rumor's absolutely false, and that he even had a girlfriend between when Rula dated him and he divorced the Spanish teacher. I don't believe this. if there's a rumor about Brian and it's related to cheating, I believe it because this man has shown us who he is. He's a cheater and he's a liar. So therefore he's cheating and lying. It's as simple as that for me. Okay. And like Rula going on these like media tours and doing interviews and trying to save her marriage's reputation, because I don't think she's really saving the marriage. I think it's the marriage's reputation and all that kind of stuff is like, it's not doing anything for me. And she's wasting her time and breath. Cause like what we see on the show with this guy and the pictures of him and his mistress, like they speak for themselves and you just can't override that. So in other RHORI news, like to just on that same note, Rula was on Watch What Happens Live, and she said that she was mad about Joellen, not because like, you know, she's not blaming the women more than Brian, but she says she's mad because Joellen told like hairstylists and gossipers. And then eventually the entire state of Rhode Island, I love this show, before she went to Rula. So that's why she's mad. But she said she's appreciative that Joellen was trying to like give her a heads up and showed her the pictures. I mean, no, you're not. Rula wants to just have her head in the sand. Like she wants like, if he's cheating, I just don't want to know about it. So if you tell her, it's like a burden. You know, like she's like, if he's cheating and I'm going to break up with him about it, it's going to be when I feel like doing it and I don't want to do it right now. So I just don't want to know about it and just leave me alone. Like that's what it is. It's very Luann when she was dating Tom, you know, like she ended it when she was ready to end it. Like she didn't want to hear it from Bethany or anybody else. And she was more mad at them for telling her and ruining her like, you know, fantasy that she was living in. Okay. Meanwhile, Brian was there in the audience on Watch What Happens Live, and he says it's preposterous that he left, you know, the whole idea of him leaving the pizza place to see the woman and that watching it back, you know, he feels like the whole thing feels like a setup. How is it a setup? You were the one who told the lie about whoever being in the hospital, and then you're the one who left and then came back. I'm sorry. There's no setup. You got caught. The cameras don't lie, the mics don't lie, and you're a liar. So that's it. And then Rula and Brian say they're together and they're better than ever, better than they were even from before the affair. Okay, guys. Rula thinks that's why you're like on this press tour, like, you know, trying to constantly protest about how great you are. So Rula thinks images, then Andy asks her about the images being AI, which is like my favorite part of the episode where Rula was like, this woman is known for AI. Like, what? So she says that the reason is because she saw another post from her birthday with him and her. And then, but her and Brian had been together for her birthday weekend, like the whole time. So she's like, how could he be with her that weekend and me as well? I mean, I'm sure there's some explanation for how. I'm just sure that there is, and it's not ChatGPT. Okay. Brian then does the thing where he kind of blames editing for some of it, and said, you know, he's disappointed that stuff from the past is being brought up because he's changed. I'm sure you have. Here's the thing. The reason they're bringing it up is because they claim that it's not in the past. So that's the problem. I'm sorry to tell you, Brian, but that's the problem. And it kind of seems like they're probably right. Like, sorry, I'm on Team Joellen when it comes to this. Okay. Now also Liz was also at that virtual reality thing that I was saying that like Levi was at and that people have been, you know, pulling quotes from and stuff. So Liz McGraw was also there, and they asked her to name the most annoying and irritating cast member of Real Housewives of Rhode Island. And she said Rosie. And I'm so glad she said it because I also find Rosie to be extremely irritating. Now, you know, that being said, I actually think Rosie was right in her argument with Kelsey. Like, I think if you paid for the service, then no, it's not necessarily expected that you share it on social media. Would it have been a nice thing to do? Yes. But Kelsey should have asked her. Simple, like resolved, not a big deal. I think Kelsey just doesn't like Rosie. I think a lot of them don't. So she was just like looking for something. And Kelsey even so much as said it. Like, she's like, oh, just like her presence bothers me. Just like everything about her bothers me. She is Kelsey's bitch eating crackers, if you've ever heard that term. Okay. It's like when someone is like, when you dislike someone so much that every little thing they do drives you crazy, like, look at that bitch over there eating crackers. Like, the way she eats crackers drives me crazy. So it like, that is what Rosie is to her. And I can kind of see that. Like, I can, because I also find Rosie to be obnoxious. I'm not a big fan. I don't like hate her or anything like that. I don't want her off the show or anything. It's too soon for those kind of decisions, but she's annoying for sure. She's annoying. And I much prefer Kelsey. Um, but yeah, so I guess Kelsey's not the only one who doesn't like her. And, Rosie's kind of been in my comments on my Twitter roundups for Rhode Island lately. So, so they were talking about, I guess, like the tweet in the roundup was talking about the rumor of Rosie getting fired for sleeping with like a higher up in her company. And somebody commented and said, isn't that like an insane abuse of power if Rosie was indeed fired? Which is a good point. Because like, if you're hooking up with someone who's like above you in the hierarchy of the company or whatever, and then you're the one who gets fired, that is crazy and wrong and illegal and all that stuff. And then Rosie replied and said, yeah, it would be if it were true, with a bunch of eye rolling emojis. And then, she also, which, that is totally fine for her to come into the comments and defend herself. All that being said, she was also in the comments, like, defending her outfits and like whatever. I was like, okay, just she's a little too like thirsty and involved with stuff on social media. I have noticed. Okay, from my own perception, I have definitely noticed that. Okay, let's talk about Southern Hospitality, because there is a lot going on with that show too. As anyone who watches Southern Hospitality knows, Emmy is having like the worst season of her life. And the most recent episode where Michaels shares some of her tweets did not help. So he shared snippets of them. And of course, people on the internet put these snippets together. And these were kind of all in regards to how she felt, like, with when Bradley sent her those texts, like after the reunion or whatever. Okay, so more of what she said from these texts that have been decoded. So they include her claim of wanting the police to get involved and her suggestion that she could sue him. Oh my God. She then said, okay, I have a lot to say, but right now I'm incredibly hurt that it's being entirely overlooked and that no one is acknowledging or defending me against the fact that Bradley invaded my hotel room, illegally recorded a private conversation between my mom, Will, and myself, and then sent me threatening messages with the intention to make me feel uncomfortable and also with the intent to be intimidating. I am being gaslit into feeling like I wasn't allowed to feel unsafe. I had every right to feel the way I did, and what Brad did was extremely illegal, and I legitimately can sue him if I so choose. I will not sit by quietly while there is a narrative portrayed of me that is entirely false. I am a woman, and I'm allowed to feel any way that I felt when a man did exactly what Brad did. Oh my God. Emmy, it's just stop talking. Like, I know these were sent a while ago, but I'm told I need to be careful when using the word because it can be interpreted as microaggression, or you have to understand the history that African-American people have gone through. Oh God, Emmy. And calling a person of color unsafe can be a microaggression, but no one is telling me why, when I use the word, given the context, why it was. And that is what is so frustrating, because Brad is now going to have this conversation with me. If you and Lake believe what Brad said is true, then I believe you, and Lake can also have this conversation with me. How am I supposed to understand this if no one will explain it to me? I think they did explain it to you, and you're just too dumb to understand, if you want me to be honest. Like, she's not the brightest. Okay. I'm not asking for examples or for anyone to keep telling me that Brad is entitled to his opinion. I'm asking why you agree with it. Okay. So then after seemingly claiming that Bradley shared out of line and inappropriate videos on TikTok, Emmy said her co-stars did so to, quote, try to humiliate her and hurt her relationship. So then she also says in the text, his inability to take accountability for his actions is beyond me. The fact that none of his friends are holding him accountable for how inappropriate it was to record my private conversation in New York and then send me threatening message is beyond me. The fact that no one besides Brad were on their social platforms to try to humiliate me and my relationship speaks volumes. Oh my God. Yeah, so she says that the cast also overlooked how Bradley lied in an effort to ruin Maddie's relationship. Um, you know, before she doubles down on her claim regarding his illegal behavior and labeling it a felony, basically. She says, I don't want to not be heard. That's a weird sentence. And feel like I've been on the defense this season and have not had my story be told. For people to hear me out and listen to me and validate me does not invalidate Brad. And my issue right now is that it seems as though if people were to listen to me and agree that what Brad did was wrong, they somehow think it invalidates his feelings. Okay, my God. This is insane. Yeah. So those were the texts that Michael got that he was kind of flashing on the screen in the last episode. Listen, here's the thing. Is Emmy allowed to feel upset or mad that they were like listening to a private conversation? I guess that's like the most I could give her in this situation. But that being said, if you're yelling and being so loud in the hotel room that they could hear you, that's not their fault. Like if they could hear you from the hall or from their room, again, it like they didn't literally like sneak into your room and hide under the bed and eavesdrop on your conversation. If you're in some hotel and there's, the walls are not insulated very well and you can hear everything, then they heard it. Those are the breaks and they're allowed to respond with a text. And the text that Brad sent, I'm sorry, it's not threatening. Like, it's just like, it's a response to like, he overheard you saying something shitty about him. So he responded back with his own shit and insult. Like, that happens. People walk in on people talking shit about them. It's happened in the world many times. So for her to be like freaking out to the point of like, I feel unsafe, I need to call the police, like you're taking it too far. Like you're just taking it way too far. And I'm sure Will and his mom or her or whoever are egging her on like 100%. And it is microaggressive. I would even say it's climbing into aggressive. Like, and then you're texting Michaels and you're basically expecting your other Black friend to take your side so that you don't look racist. Like that's what she's doing. Just like how she paraded that female friend of hers, who's Black, to come on the show to say that she's right. Like that's why she's doing it. Like she's just trying, like it's the oldest and dumbest trick in the book of like, well, I can't be racist. I have a Black friend. Like that's what she's doing. And we see it. And Emmy's just like, Emmy needs help. Like, besides the fact that she's so problematic and she keeps sinking herself even further, and she doesn't seem to be capable of learning all of this, she also, I think, actually needs like psychiatric help of some kind. She does not seem, I don't know, normal. I don't know. And I'm not saying that's an excuse for any of this other stuff. I'm just saying both of those are coexisting in the world. Like something's off with her. I don't know if it's like drug use or something or mental health. I don't know. And also she's like problematic. Like those things are just both true. And I think even if she wasn't like on whatever she's on or dealing with whatever mental health issues she's dealing with, I still think she would have all these opinions and believe all these things. So, again, not an excuse, but yeah. So Emmy needs to zip it. Like this could have been solved. It was like resolved at the beginning of the season. But as Bradley and many of them have said, she keeps talking about it. Like it's like like it's crazy. Okay. So the other thing from Southern Hospitality is that Mia was also at that virtual reality event. And she said that after she did that Watch What Happens Live interview that I reported on, I think last week, she said that West actually reached out to her and said, I've been off the internet, but I've seen snippets of everything and I'm sorry for getting you roped into all of this. So I guess he kind of like tried to apologize to her for her being like kind of involved because she went on a date with him back in September and all that kind of stuff. Um, I don't think he needs to apologize. I think he did her a favor in this instance. I think West's stupidity actually helped me. I gave her more attention, put her name out there more. Like for a reality star, I think this is kind of a good thing. But yeah, she should just like, be like, yeah, thanks a lot, and like make him feel bad because he just deserves to feel bad about it. So yeah. Okay, let's go to what do we have still? Oh, yes, our last show for today is going to be Ladies of London. What a fantastic first season they had. Wow. It was so fun to watch. My favorite is Kimmy. I love Kimmy. I think she's hilarious. I think she is authentically herself, which I love. I don't think she's trying to like be someone who she's not. And yeah, so I'm very much a Kimmy fan. But you know what? I like really all of them actually. So they all, I think, bring something great to the cast. I think the only one I don't like is Margot, me and the rest of the internet. I mean, I know there are some Margot defenders out there, but I I'm I'm side-eyeing the Margot defenders. And Margot did this whole like People magazine story about like how like her 3-day panic attack because of the trip to whatever Longleaf or whatever was a blessing in disguise because now she's been able to get herself officially diagnosed and whatever. Like, girl, I don't even believe that was a real panic attack. And this isn't, and I'm not like questioning. I have panic disorder. I have diagnosed anxiety and panic disorder. I take medication for it. So I am not questioning that as a reality. What I am questioning is Margot's truthfulness because she, as Mark said on Watch What Happens Live, she sent a text that he saw. He sent it to someone else, but he was shown it where she was saying like, oh, that was like a Oscar worthy performance or like something like that. Like she was making reference to her panic attack. Like she didn't have the panic attack until she realized that she said things that could be seen as homophobic, well, that were homophobic, and that she was possibly going to be painted that way on the show. And then she started panicking. So she used her tears to try and like get sympathy. And she knew she got caught up and that she was the loser in the fight and she couldn't handle it because she clearly is obsessed with like, drama and being the fan favorite. So she had this like faux panic attack. That's what she did. Okay. And she was using her tears to try and get sympathy and like back from the audience. I'm sorry, but that's what it was. And from her friend group, because she realized that everybody turned on her and they were right to turn on her. So Martha was on Watch What Happens Live and Andy asked her where things are with Margot. And she says she feels the least inclined to wipe her bum than ever. Wow. And says things are worse with her than they've ever been, which is pretty crazy. Because, as Andy points out, they have a 25-year friendship. So yeah, it's pretty sad. And Emma was on as well, and she was saying how like, she was not happy with Margot's behavior at Longleaf, and that they also pointed out that it was really hard for Bravo to be able to film there, like to get their cameras in and stuff. And that I guess Emma's husband had to pull a lot of strings. There was like a lot of legwork, a lot of behind the scenes stuff to even allow them and get them to be able to film there. So yeah, so it was really cool. Like I was so glad that they had those episodes there. It was so amazing. But yeah, clearly like they couldn't even get cameras like inside and in all the parts of it and stuff. So, but even like just seeing what we did was insane. But yeah, like, and that's one of those trips. It's like, I know it's a show and we're supposed to have drama, but Man, did Margot ruin that trip. My goodness. This is why, though, I'm so mad that Ladies of London's not getting a reunion, in case you haven't heard. They better get a second season. I think they are. They've been like, there was like a cover story of Martha in the New York Times. Like they've although maybe it wasn't like the highest ratings, they do take into consideration like media and like internet chatter and like how much the fans let. Like I do think that they'll get a second season, but people need to watch. Okay, so if you are listening to this right now, just because you listen to all the news but you don't watch Ladies of London, I need you to watch Ladies of London. You don't have to watch the original seasons like from the old one. You don't have to go back. You are under no obligation. They're not related. It's a completely different cast. You're not going to be missing any context or backstories. Just start the new one. Okay. Episode 1. It's a short season. It's like, I don't even know, 10 episodes or something. And every single moment of it is enjoyable. You will love it from start to finish. So go, and that is your duty now that this podcast is over. Okay, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. Make sure you listen to both parts and, follow me on social media and threads and all that. And if you want ad-free episodes, head over to the Patreon at patreon.com/Bravo and Botox. And until next time, you are now in the know for everything Bravo. Bye.